hybrid selling, as the name suggests, it's a model which will combine digital and in-person sales techniques to contact potential as well as retain existing customers. So this model is actually a blend of different sales strategies, but it is a very meticulous integration that will aim to leverage the strengths of both digital and traditional sales channels, right? So we covered a lot last time in the traditional sales channel, which is basically the in-person sales meetings, etc. And we also covered up the sales process, the basic sales process, which we will also adapt to a virtual model and then arrive at digital sales. Now our agenda, like I said, 4 sections, and we will go through each of these in detail. What is the selling strategy? What is the sales funnel, which is what the buyer's journey is? What is competitive advantage and positioning? This derives from what we did in our first session, highlighting advantages and benefits as opposed to features. And that's how we will talk about positioning. And then the digital approach. How do we utilize digital mediums to make our selling a success? So what is the selling strategy? So it's basically nothing but a structured plan. It will outline your actions, decisions, and the goals which are necessary for any salesperson or team to position a product or a service to acquire customers. So the strategy basically outlines procedures, activities, and product placement to help achieve the sales targets. All of us in sales get certain targets, right? And we have certain timeline to also meet that target. So a strategy, if we put in place beforehand on how we are going to meet that number or meet that target, is what is basically the defining strategy. Okay, so what it actually means and how you want to build your strategy. So working behind the scenes, preparing for acquiring customers, preparing for retaining customers, working out a comprehensive plan on how we want to go about it. Believe me, guys, it's not happenstance. Nothing just happens by chance. You have to make it happen. So the fundamentals of strategic selling, whether you are selling online or whether you're selling in person, that will remain the same. So you have customer centricity at the end of it, and you always have a win-win approach to start with. So you remember the sales process that we all did in our previous session. Can anybody tell me the 7 steps?
Prospecting, preparation, approaching, and presenting.
Yes.
Overcoming the features.
Objection.
And then follow up. Yeah.
Yes. So all these steps again apply similarly to even the online mode. It's just that the platform changes. Right? So therefore, the need to adapt to digital sales, because see, neither can we do selling only in person and neither can we do selling only on a virtual mode. Today's businesses get conducted both online and offline. And that is why sellers too need to adapt to a hybrid mode. So what do we do? How do we proceed with sales digitization? At the base of this is that the customers are expecting a very seamless, personalized experience when they're interacting with businesses online. Think of your own experience, a site that allows you to navigate seamlessly without glitches, doesn't take too much time to download the pages that you want to click and it just comes out very quickly. These are what makes the customer experience great. So you want to understand your customers' digital buying behavior first before you start selling to them. Just as in the in-person model, you are doing research on your customers. Similarly, you want to research their digital buying behavior. You want to analyze what kind of customers, for example, opened your email. You will get it from your tools, the email open rate. You want to drill down to the metrics, right? Is it a certain age group that is drawn to this email, this subject headline, maybe any particular gender that opens it? What comprises the buying behavior? These are the things that you want to analyze and use so that you know which customers to target who would be interested in what you're selling. Another aspect of this is the omni-channel presence. That means that customers are being present across multiple channels. They may start their research on, say, your company's website, but then they move to social media to get some testimonials, references, and then they may refer or get references or word of mouth in person before they make a purchase. So similarly, it is important that as a seller, you are also omnipresent. I don't mean for you to sound sinister, but you will need to be present in different platforms. And then reallocate resources.
Someday later, now the father is taking care of the baby fish.
Sorry? Oh, I think somebody's mic is on. Can you mute your mics, please? Okay. Okay, so reallocating resources and then automating it. Now, by automating your sales workflows, businesses can improve efficiency. It can help close more deals. Now, there is a concept which has come in for quite some time, a digital sales room. Again, that's an online space where companies can actually share information and resources with their buyers to enable a streamlined buying experience, right? They're also known as virtual deal rooms, or they're also called sales microsites. Some of you may have experienced that. That is where the sales proposals get discussed, shown, discussion happens, a new one gets drawn up, etc., till the deal is drawn. So just to give you an idea of the difference in the remote and the hybrid models, take a minute to go through this, please, because today's customers want the right mix of in-person interactions, remote contact, either via phone, via video, and if your business is in that space, and e-commerce, self-service across their purchasing journey. So remote versus hybrid comes with its pros and cons, right? CRM software would be a cost that would be common across both the platforms. You would need better phone systems as far as remote sales are concerned. In terms of scalability, building relationships would be a little tougher in the virtual medium. The length of the sales cycle is usually shorter in the virtual medium because you don't have to keep waiting for appointments to happen. And then, yes, you would need some bit of tech skills. You would need how to toggle between various platforms and stuff like that. So technically, remote selling is not a very new concept. It sort of replaces cold calling that was used in the traditional method. But in the traditional method now, customers are no longer available for any person to just walk in and say hello. So people now end up doing remote selling. Now let's talk a bit about the number of channels that a customer now has access to versus 5 years back. Are you able to see the difference? It has sort of doubled in the last 5 years. And guys, if you go to China, they actually end up doing their entire business on WeChat. They don't even use emails anymore. And McKinsey's sources, their surveys always tell us that they like the fast and easy access to suppliers' product as well as subject matter experts that remote engagement allows. And also think about it. In a remote sale, you can reach at least 4 times as many.
So, ma'am, what is exactly web chats?
So web chats would be through the web, the chatbot that you have. That's another technology that a company needs to invest in. But again, web chats are not the answer. You remember when we spoke about automation in the last section, we said there needs to be a fine line between too much and too less. So if it is going to always keep giving robotic answers, then that's not really going to go very far with the customer. Is that
So, ma'am, one simple question. How is this sales negotiations, this hybrid learning, how is this going to help us in, in further landing with a job? I mean,
in what?
how is this going to help us to, in the, when we work for anyone, how are these things going to help us?
These things will help you to understand if you're going for a sales role, what is it that you need to do?
Okay.
It's not meant to get you a job. It is meant to make you proficient enough to apply for a sales role.
No, I have seen everyone ask, usually in all interviews, what they ask us, have we done our sales? Have we done our sales studies? So,
Sales
is
studies.
this about?
You know, there are no sales studies.
I've actually checked in many companies. They've told, have you done your sales marketing course?
You don't need to do a sales marketing course if you have the experience.
Okay.
What have you done prior?
No, as I told you other day, no, I'm on to selling only. I'm into selling fashion.
You're selling fashion.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's nice. And your fashion selling happens virtually. It happens in person.
Yeah, it happens through WhatsApp, status, Insta.
Yeah. So the different platforms. So you've also had to adapt, right, to these modes from your, maybe if you did it earlier as a in-person thing.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So similarly, now if you want to look at applying for a sales role in any company, yes, they will ask you whether you had an experience in selling products and services.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, now this slide here, you actually get to see the top performers who are more likely to excel at sales skills. So the ones who are adept in selling with video are definitely one of the top performers. This is how the entire landscape has actually changed in the last 5 years. This is what the customers value, and this is what they would expect of you. So how do you utilize this information, and how are you able to now develop a strategy for the new world, a hybrid sales strategy, say? What would a hybrid sales strategy need to include? Thoughts?
It can be mix and match, I would say. It cannot be one thumb rule, like, okay, only selling video or something.
Yeah.
It has to be engaging. It has to be, either be it cold calls also, or referring to their need basis, how they want it, their business, how it is going to help them if it is B2B. So it depends. I'm not saying it's going to be one particular
Yeah. No,
specific.
it's not going to be one particular, like the name says hybrid, because you'll have to again adapt. You have to gauge where the customer is comfortable, which platform, be ready to adapt. It's not that I'm proficient in only online selling and suddenly if the client wants to meet me, I don't know how to handle that. So hybrid selling will orchestrate the customer journey across multiple touch points, and therefore a critical capability in the omni-channel system. By omni-channel, I mean the seamless shopping experience across different channels in store or mobile or online. The key thing to remember here is to avoid those automated calls or robocalls. Do you, any of you ladies have received these calls which are recorded? What do you do when you get that call?
Can we disconnect that?
We disconnected
Just
now.
disconnect. Yeah, so remember that. Don't ever send your customers automated messages. Nobody's listening, believe me. And the first thing I think of is like, if they can't even make an effort to speak, why would I want to buy their product? Right? So think of that and then implement your omni-channel sales, plan and test your hybrid sales model. So as you start out on your sales journeys, and sometimes it may be something you're doing for the first time, please experiment around and see through a various combinations, what is it that works better? There is no hard and fast rule which says that with this customer, with this industry, only the video platform will work or only this platform will work. You'll still need to experiment and figure out of the 10 customers that you are approaching, which ones prefer what. Okay. So, but don't be afraid to take that risk. Just go ahead and start doing that. Personalize your sales method. So while you're automating things, make sure that the personalization remains. You know, if you're getting onto a video call, don't just start off into, talking about the product. I inquire about the person. How are you? How's the family? If you do know them, etc. Just as you would do in an in-person meeting. And focus on that customer experience. Now, you remember in our last session, we talked a lot about the customer touch points. So similarly, in your digital journey, there are also customer touch points, and you want to make sure that they have a great experience at each of these points. And last but not the least, the feedback is that secure payment methods are the ones that actually clinch the deal. If the payment gateways are not something that they are able to trust or understand or know of, they will hesitate to seal the deal with. So this is just an example of, say, a SaaS company model that works and how the service mix they have taken into account. So bear in mind that within this model also, a high value customer would still be assigned a specific account person. It's still about the customer experience. Right? Now let's understand the customer mindset. Customers also, if you've noticed, are less willing to talk to a sales rep. How many times you have preferred not to talk to someone who's selling you something, but bought that stuff online? Or if some link came to you on a WhatsApp. Any of you done that? Ladies?
Yes, we do prefer that.
Or are you very nice and you just take the call and say, okay, I'll buy this?
Even in the shop also, if they come to help, we would say, thanks, we'll help ourselves.
Yeah. That I think that's also coming. People prefer to do their own comparisons. They prefer to sit and, look at what works for them, what doesn't. So while everybody is digitally connected, they are also very prone to videos. Something that demonstrates right away what it's going to do for you is a sure clincher. So customers don't want to be sold to, they still want personalization. They want to be educated. Most of the time, by the time they have come to you, they have done some homework. So they would find an engagement helpful to the extent of giving them more information, not just rattling of features to highlight the product. So what actions can you take? Agility. What is agility?
Quick to respond.
Yeah. being agile, being able to fluctuate between, you may have your first call to the customer by telephone, and then it may shift by him asking you to come to his office, say for a product demo. So you should be agile enough to sit and prepare accordingly. Now, remember that 40% of customers using a new supplier, they prefer to buy that once they have met the salesperson. So all those things that we talked about earlier, the presentation, etc., still hold good. Now, part of embracing agility also means knowing how and how frequently the in-person interactions should occur and align the expectations accordingly. So buyers actually want a mix. So what is a good mix? Generally, people recommend the rule of thirds. 1/3 of the time should be spent in person, 1/3 of the time should be spent remotely, either through a video conference or the phone. And if your company has an e-commerce website, then they would prefer 1/3 to be browsing through there. So this entire interaction is throughout their buying journey. So striking the right balance is also equally important. Harnessing customer knowledge is also something that you need to do even for an online interaction, just as you would do for an in-person interaction. And there are enough data, there are enough tools, enough software that you can get your customers' data insights so that actionable insight can emerge. So automated analytics can track customer interactions. They leave their digital footprints, so generate specific recommendations based on that. And they also, at the top of the funnel, if the customer starts becoming aware and has expressed an interest, they can also, analytics can also give you how long they lingered on, say, your web page, a particular web page of your company. What did they actually browse? What interested them? That's actually a good clue when you make that call to talk about that particular product. Technology. We all know technology, automating our mundane tasks so that you are concentrating on what you do best, that is approaching the customer, talking to the customer, and highlighting the advantages that they would have with your product. So at several sales organizations, earlier remote sellers had to actually log into 4 different applications to get customer data. But now with integrations and a single dashboard, it's very easy to get all the information that you need at one click. Tech optimizing organizations also look for opportunities to optimize the customer interactions. And one B2B company, for example, frontline sellers worked with customers over a video initially, but the conversations were not leading anywhere. Then they said that they would come over and do a product demonstration in the customer's office in the area where it is supposed to be actually done. And finally, when that was done, the deal was closed. So like I said, be prepared to sit and have a mix of anything that the customer needs at that time. And doing too many video calls also may not be necessary. For both parties, it does end up causing Zoom fatigue. And talent, which means basically developing the human resources to be able to interact with customers. So if we are that human resource, then how about upskilling and reskilling ourselves to meet that demand? Adapting that traditional sales model to a virtual model, and then now to a hybrid model. The sales funnel. What do we understand by the sales funnel? Anybody has any idea? I'm sure you all have ideas. Would you like to tell me?
One who would not currently buy, but in future, the chances are high that they would buy from us.
Yes. So the sales funnel is basically the buyer who would come to you and the journey that he follows. So because the whole journey looks like some, like a funnel, like when you strain through. So that is what is the structured approach to selling. It's wide at the mouth because there's a lot of prospects that are coming in, and as they get filtered through, and then you are able to close the deal with a few of. Let's see what it looks like. Right? So this is basically, like I said, a visual representation of the buyer's initial purchase journey. And we are doing it right from when they became aware of your product to when they purchased, and you are then working on retaining them. So there are many names for the sales funnels. At many times, it's also called the purchase funnel. It's also called the buyer's journey. So here is where, again, your sales process, if you map, it comes into play, right? When you are prospecting, when you're researching, that is when they are evaluating, etc. Any questions so far, ladies?
In this awareness, are we looking into the customer's awareness point of view, or as a seller, we know our product? That awareness are you addressing?
Yeah, very good question. So, an awareness, the customer is becoming aware of you, your product, right? They have perhaps gone to your website, or they have perhaps clicked on some Google ad that you've given. So that is the awareness stage for them. That means that once they've clicked, then they are reaching out. That's a customer touch point that starts happening. You as the seller, either you will get the call or your customer relations team will get that call, depending on what is your internal process. Right? So the key,
based on that, we have to make how far is the customer interested in it, and then the evaluation starts. That's how is it, right?
Yes. So you have to be then prepared. Your part is to be prepared when that customer lands up. Which medium has he landed up by? And then how you are going to give a reaction or take it through. Right? So this is basically for you to know the key aspects, which are basically lead generation, right? Your leads are coming through this funnel. Here, through the awareness stage, that is where your marketing teams are doing promotions, campaigns. That's how the customer is getting aware, right? That is how many prospects come. But again, we say prospects are not customers because till they've done a purchase, they're not a customer. So here, your marketing team will deploy techniques like SEO, content marketing. They'll do some social media campaigns. And companies using content marketing, investing heavily into content marketing, actually see higher conversion rates, nearly 6 times that of their competitors. So it's worthwhile looking at what content you're putting out. And then in the middle is this, you're nurturing that lead. Once it comes in, then the focus should shift to nurturing them with some tailored communication. That is when you are interacting with them or showing them a demo or answering their questions, keeping them engaged, keeping them informed. And nurtured leads, if they get a good interaction, they continue forward with purchase. So the conversion will happen with, maybe you want to give a free trial, you want to give a demonstration, or you want to highlight a special promotion that gets their interest up. So companies who have a well-defined sales management process, they actually have a very structured approach and a reaction to when the customer engages with them. And businesses that integrate, say, things like email marketing into their sales funnel, they actually have seen 50% higher conversion rates. So yes, there is an equal number of people saying that, emails are spammy, but again, it depends on how you craft them and how you draw attention with your subject line. So we'll talk about these stages also, since you were asking that question. So awareness stage is basically the beginning of the customer's journey, right? So here, your buyer, like I said, has become aware of your product, your service. What is it? Maybe something about it has interested them. Here, they may not necessarily have a problem or even be aware that they have some problem. So understanding who your customers are and what they need is critical. This can be achieved through when you do market research, you analyze the sales data, and you're monitoring the social media trends. You would probably get data from your marketing team as to, which customer has analyzed, has spent more time on which product on your website, or maybe he's one of those whose open rate is higher, etc. when you've sent out a particular email campaign. So content marketing is a key area, again, to drive awareness, building up the brand visibility. So how do you want to make the awareness stage better so that you get better prospects coming in? You want to leverage multiple channels, utilize a combination of digital marketing efforts, and increase your reach, right? You want to also provide a good content, which is more educative rather than just talks about your product features. It should be insightful, it should be engaging. For example, there are a lot of people who want to sell, products of, say, the restaurants, but they don't sit and send out, marketing messages which simply say, we have this cake, we have that pastry, blah, blah, blah. They actually talk a bit about nutrition. They talk a bit about, say, if they're promoting some particular lemon cake, they will talk about how lemon is good for health. And finally, at the last bit, you will find a picture or two of a lemon tart or something, and but they've engaged your interest by talking about nutrition, by talking about something healthy. So in your mind, you're thinking this is a very healthy bakery. Then tracking and measuring is equally important. Your marketing department actually analyzes the effect of these marketing campaigns, and therefore what drives what traffic, what engagement rate, etc. So again, awareness, people have come here through something that has caught their attention. It could be a Google ad, it could have been a newsletter also that you could have sent out, or it could be a banner on any of the site, anything. Right? Now, let's talk about the interest stage. What is happening to the buyer at this stage? The buyer has already contacted you now. How will you want to nurture that interest? Any thoughts on how you would want to drive engagement?
Since the buyer himself has shown the interest, I mean, at least the stage of awareness has happened, I would ask what are the basic needs and how I can help him get to what he needs. And then based on the more probing, the more specifications would be established. That's how I would approach.
Yes, very good. So yes, you would keep the dialogue going. You may also want to put them down for if he's just says that I'm just inquiring, then you can always put them down on your email list, on your newsletter list, etc. Whatever you have to keep an engagement ongoing. You may also at this time offer them some value, like a lead magnet, as it is called. Maybe you have a forthcoming webinar. You can invite him for that. If you have a free trial that you give to customers, you could offer him that. So idea is to push him down from the interest more towards the purchase decision. Also remember that from the number of people who contact you, these leads which come to you, learn to segment their leads based on their behavior. And so that's important on how you want to tailor your message to them. Because you will again not send the same kind of email to everyone or the same kind of, say, a telephone script to everyone. You will need at some point to differentiate your offerings based on what you have understood of the customer's needs. Be visible again in relevant places. Now, at the decision stage, which is basically the intent and the purchase, this is a very important stage. It's a critical point where your sales process actually has intensified to the point where the customer is actually now ready to make a purchase and is just looking at the last minute things that would enable that. So if you do a good product demo or you give him a good trial, that is something that would encourage him to actually move forward. If you can present him with a customer testimonial, a customer who is in a similar space as him, and maybe share a case study of somebody similar who used your product and could apply to get the results that he's looking for. And these kind of things actually create that credibility and trust, which makes them think, yes, it can work for me too. So they would have also done a detailed comparison by this time of you and your competitors. It is in your good interest that you highlight your unique features at this stage and optimize your customers' pain points by again highlighting the benefit that they would avail from your product. Now, what happens at this, you've done all of this, he's made the purchase. Does this finish here? There's one more stage, the retention stage. This is where you want to do follow-up to check, is he still happy or is he looking for another purchase? You want to probe and check further. So this is very crucial because here you want to get his testimonial too, because that will also become a reference point for other customers. Make sure that you take testimonials within a week of them having done a purchase. After that, it's too late and then they're too busy and then they will not remember to do it. Also, make sure that once the purchase is done, your retention plan needs to include regular follow-ups. And it doesn't mean that you have to keep calling them every week. Make sure that you have a plan, like every 2 weeks, you want to send an email or maybe one email, one newsletter. But figure out what works. If you have a loyalty program, yes, enroll them. But make sure that you engage continuously with them through content. You need to prepare your email scripts. You need to, of course, your newsletter would be prepared by your company, but keep gathering feedback and keep on, refining your offering and your communication with the customer.
Hi, Sonia, I would like to disturb you once.
Go ahead.
Yeah, in the purchase, if we are putting this 5 item, for retention, why it is 2? Those who have purchased, ideology should be, everybody should be followed up for the further purchase or their satisfaction part, right? Then
Yeah.
why numbers are different?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
In the funnel, in the purchase part, the number of items and in the retention, the number of items are lower. Why it is so?
Yeah, why it is so? Because everyone who makes a purchase may not be happy with your product or may have just moved on to competition also after a while. It's not necessary that 100% purchasers are going to be 100% retained.
Okay, so this you are trying to tell from seller point of view or from the buyer point of view? From buyer point of view, they may not be in the retaining mode, but from seller point of view, from follow-up point of view, it should be with all, right?
Yes, definitely. It should be with all. Now, if you don't follow up, you don't even come to know whether he has been happy or unhappy with what he got. So that is why the follow-up is extremely, extremely important. Many times companies don't even know when the customer moved out to competition.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you've caught on. It's a very, very important point. So follow-up is extremely critical. Don't wait for the year end to start doing follow-ups when contracts have to be renewed. The purchase is done within 2 weeks. A follow-up should be done to check how happy they are. Something more can be done. Are they unhappy? Can you rectify? The intent should be always to retain them as a customer. Does that answer your question?
Yes, fine.
Yeah, okay, great. Now, if you take any example, take the any SaaS product as an example, which is going through this sales funnel. So top of the funnel in the awareness stage, the company would have used some kind of content marketing, blogs, and maybe videos to drive traffic to their site. In the middle of the funnel, the interested visitors are encouraged maybe to sign up for some free trial of that product, or they have a live demo coming up. Bottom of the funnel, where they are actually doing that intent and purchase, they will start receiving their emails highlighting the benefits, accompanied by testimonials from well-satisfied customers who can vouch for it. And then in the post-purchase, the retention part, there is ongoing support, there is periodic updates, and then follow-up calls, incentives also for annual renewals, whatever they would do to retain that customer. Does that put it in perspective? Ladies, are you following? Okay, I'm assuming that's a yes. So we are moving now to all the stages. So awareness, we spoke about. So have a read through this and let me know if there is still any questions regarding these stages. You can relate it to the stages that we did in the sales process, the prospecting, the approach, the presenting. The buyer is having a similar journey while you are doing your sales process journey.
Ma'am, do we get the slides, though?
No, you don't get these slides. These are my slides.
Okay.
But are you following through?
Yes, ma'am, here and there, little confused.
Tell me, where is the confusion? Which part is the confusion? Should I go back? Okay, is the confusion with the
Evaluation only,
stages?
ma'am.
Evaluation. Okay, what is the confusion here? This is the prospect, the buyer's journey. He is evaluating, not you,
Oh, okay, okay.
right? So
Right.
he's checking, is the pricing within my budget? Are these features that will help solve his problems? He's looking at features. You have to present advantages. Clear?
So it's done only from his end, evaluation.
Yeah, because see, this is the buyer's journey, as I said. So he's doing they were prospects, and this is the time they're going to be checking you and your competition. It's like when you went to buy your car, right? You looked for some models and then you started comparing them based on this is my budget, this is my mileage. It has to fall into these categories. Remember? This is what's happening at this stage. Now you are the buyer.
Right. I'll evaluate definitely before buying.
Of course. Right? This part is clear, guys?
Yeah.
Yes,
First,
ma'am.
right? So retention, everybody clear? Retention is your part. How will you do the retention? You will offer great customer service. You will guide them in product usage. You will do the feedback surveys, etc. Okay. Boston Consulting Group also came up with a key attributes of a hybrid sales model. They also focused on omni-channel experiences. They also talked about shifting to hybrid interactions. First, they went totally online. Then they realized that they need a mix. Then inside sales capabilities needed to be adapted. Focus on long-term customer relations. Right? So this leads to improving online customer experience. And believe me, guys, it becomes very difficult to actually look at online customer experience. Something happens to the site, the guy is not able to make a purchase. That's it. He's gone. You may send up a follow-up. You may send up something saying that, once we face something in our site, that is also if you come to know. But building a customer experience online is 4 times more difficult than doing it face to face. Okay, let's talk about competitive advantage and positioning. What do you understand by this? What is a competitive advantage?
Knowing your competitors closely and then seeing customer base, also observing the needs and then customizing your product to match the best, so you can eliminate the other competitors, seeing others products also and then matching yours to the best needs.
Yes, thank you.
Giving better price from the competitor.
Yeah, but remember, it is not always about price. The key word is value.
No, of course, quality also.
Yes, that's why we say value. And many times it's not about, did I play that video that day? It's sometimes they will also want something and are willing to pay a little premium over if it's meeting their needs exactly. Of course, it can't be so exorbitant that, it becomes 4 times, 5 times the actual price of what the competition is offering. So the way you said it, competitive advantage is the strength or the capability that will allow the company to better meet the need of the customer than its competitors. There is some differentiation that you want to highlight to your customer on why they should choose your product or your service over the many others that may offer similar products in similar categories. So competitive edge also, the main 2-3 main areas that you get a competitive edge is, of course, yes, price advantage, the cost leadership. There is a focus advantage. And then the main thing that companies focus on is through differentiation. Right? So the main idea is to highlight a unique value proposition. You want to identify the features or the services that make it attractive to customers. So in your scope, you have your target market and your competitors, but you need to showcase your unique value. Now think of Apple. What is its strategy for competitive advantage? It has a differentiation strategy, that it is an innovative tech company offering iconic designs. Now, a positioning strategy will help to establish a brand's defining characteristics in the minds of the consumer. So it communicates the brand's competitive advantage. And the positioning is what will influence customer perception. You remember that perception image that I showed you? Now you could have seen a lady who was young, or you could have seen a lady that was old. So it again depends on how you position yourself and what the customer sees you as. In simple terms, we help X do Y by doing Z. You want to differentiate, you want to emphasize who your target audience is and the benefits that they get out of doing business with you. You describe the benefit or the service you will bring to your target audience. Let's see.
Can you please kindly show the earlier slide once again?
The what?
Earlier slide once again, please.
Positioning.
Yeah.
Right. So you see the sweet spot. Are you able to see that? The yellow part.
Yes.
So that is what I mean by highlighting your unique value as opposed to the competitor.
The sweet spot is the key for success, basically.
Yes, that is how you want to position, right? We offer this, but in a better way than that one.
Not the competitor.
Okay. Should I move ahead?
Yeah. Thank you.
So this is just one way a company has chosen to highlight its unique value. We help small business owners grow their audience with attractive, affordable websites. They haven't said that we are a website development company. So what the customer wants, what the business does well, the intersection of this is your unique selling proposition. What you have, but your competition doesn't have. So the intent is, especially in online, you want to communicate the unique benefits your product can provide to the customers. And then you want to differentiate these beyond the traditional features. So objective of market positioning is to establish the image of the brand so that the customers perceive it in a certain way. And that is why you have these advertisements, you have so many marketing campaigns, because you keep driving home a certain point till it becomes established like that in the mind of the consumer. Look at these two examples, the health food brand and then the e-commerce platform. So while they are like other food brands, they have differentiated themselves by talking about organic ingredients. Right? So similarly, if you're going into the market as a talent management company, as somebody who's going to do this great recruitment, you are going to also talk about how you are different from the others, because you have this concept of service managers who are there to attend to the queries and the unique needs of the customers. Think about all the things that you have which are different from what your customers are doing. Okay, let's see if we've got it and whether we are all awake. So think of the competitive advantage and positioning of these brands, very popular brands. What do you think Nike is?
Sporting goods.
Yeah, but what is the competitive advantage that
Best in quality, even, I mean, the life, shelf life as such.
Yeah. So something different. Why? Nike's competitive advantage is its brand awareness. And it always positions itself as a fashionable athletic wear. It never says sports brand. What about Tesla?
EV.
Electric vehicles.
What does Tesla stand for in your mind?
Electric vehicles.
Yes. And also, what do you associate it with? Technological superiority?
Ease of
And then think of its positioning. What does it say? The only stylish car that can go from 0 to 100 in 3 seconds without a drop of oil.
environment friendly. Yeah.
What about Starbucks?
Coffee.
See, great coffee, right?
Yeah.
And what do they say? Authentic coffee, great experience, quick delivery.
At the same time, that customized brand.
Yes, because when they say great experience, have you noticed they always make it a point to have a conversation with you, no matter how long the line is. Four Seasons, the hotel company,
Luxury.
luxury,
Fine
unparalleled
dining. Yeah.
service, right? What do they say? We are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. So these are the ways that these brands have created an image in our minds as when we are buyers. Let's look at the sales pitch. So sales pitch is primarily a value proposition that will persuade your buyers to make a purchase. So if it's well crafted, yes, it can invite the attention of the customers and can motivate them to take action. Now, how do you think you can better the sales pitch? What more needs to go in here?
Knowing what Jane prefers should help me to address my pitch. I mean, if she's looking into innovative product stores, how innovative my product is
Yeah.
should be my pitch.
So if you had some more information, I mean, this by itself is fine, but are you going to call back and set up a meeting? Not really.
It as per the inquiry. I mean, I would profile Jane first before asking for the meetup or face to face or a call or anything.
Yeah. Now let's see when you have a little bit more information and you're giving a little bit more information to Jane.
I feel along with this website link or a link to the website or any app or anything will give some more impression.
You know, I can't hear you. Your voice is breaking.
Along with this mail, I think a link to their website will give some more impact.
Yes, definitely. Link to the website or maybe even a calling number that the person can reach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So these are just thoughts. I'm just sparking these with you. So think when you think of these two, think of how many more ways you can improvise on this. A lot of people have also suggested that you can also enclose a video of what you are talking about. But I don't know, firewalls and all in companies could prohibit that from reaching the inbox, so maybe no.
In that case, the YouTube link can help. If it allows you to play, you can play that. Or from some other
Yeah,
platform.
but remember, once your email ID gets clicked as spam, then there is no way you can ever, send any further information. You want to avoid that.
Right.
You want to be on the white list, not the black list.
Yes.
So I think I will come back to this video at the end of our session. It's basically how Netflix positioned itself from a DVD rental company to what it is now. Do you all know the story?
I have used its DVDs and now I'm using the OTT as well, that I can say.
Sorry?
I've used its DVD formatting when Netflix was new. I mean,
Okay, wow. So you've seen the phenomenal change on how the company has become a giant now from what it used to be.
we used to have a post box, collect
Yes.
and pay.
Yeah. So yes, another company that has adapted itself very well. Airbnb, what did it start off as? Hotel companies actually did not take it seriously. They said it's just a homestay company. But Airbnb positioned itself literally as a home away from home because they started with homestays. And, it was an online hotel rental company. But they disrupted the traditional hotel models because they actually helped homeowners to monetize their space, and they also offered an affordable alternative to traditional hotels. And now hotel companies are setting up Airbnb copies within their categories. And again, their competitive advantage for Airbnb is community engagement and diverse offerings. Now, from homestays to Richard Branson's villa at Necker Island, you can book them all. Okay, now with all this that we have, discussed and gone through, it becomes extremely crucial to talk about digital communication, right? So what is digital communication?
Digital communication is chat through social media.
Yeah, not just social media, online, website, anything that is for the purpose of a training, we are saying anything that is not in person, right? You could be communicating to your client through telecalling, you could be doing it through social selling, you could be doing a video introduction, etc. So let's talk about reaching the audiences. What are the different ways we're going to focus on email, we're going to focus on social media, and we're going to focus on telesales. So emails are great when you want to communicate your current offerings to your clients, right? You want to send them surveys, you want to stay in touch through newsletters, you want to wish them for birthdays, anniversaries, or if you have a special promotion going on and you want to let them know, emails are great. And you can automate these so it saves you time also. Now, social media, how do you connect and engage with your clients? You could have some web series on YouTube. You can have some kind of an interaction on Twitter. Then there are video testimonials you could put up on Instagram. Educational content can be put up on your company page on LinkedIn or in your own LinkedIn profile. Then, of course, there are these Google ads and Facebook ads, podcasts, etc. And when it comes to telesale, usually this is the first touch point in a non-in-person setup. So information, pitching, customer service, follow-up, everything is actually being done through telesales. So email etiquette, guys, is this clear?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The do's, the don'ts. So again, emphasis is always on the subject line. If you make a good subject line, your email will get opened. Otherwise, I don't know about you, but many times when I get emails from people I don't know, I just tend to delete them, fearing that it could be spam. Unless the subject line mentions exactly what it is. So check, make sure it's clear, it communicates, you proofread it, check for grammatical mistakes, etc. There are enough apps that can do the spell checks before you send that send button. How does this email look like?
Talk to you, son. Okay.
Hmm?
It looks more informal and
Yeah. So what is the first thing that you would change?
the addressing, right from addressing till the ending. I mean,
Everything.
everything. I mean,
What,
it was
yeah, let's start with the subject line. Then, of course, the greeting. What else? Punctuation, right? And when I make all the corrections, how does this one look now? Does it make a difference, ladies?
yes, this second one looks more professional.
More
Yeah.
professional.
So always remember this. It's very easy to get into a frame of mind to send the first example. However well you know the customer, always keep it professional. Now, what about virtual meetings? How many of you have been regular on virtual meetings and talking to customers on video?
Very rare, ma'am.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody has ever said that please come on video call and demonstrate your product or anything.
Yeah, ma'am, because I'm working from home. So
Yeah, I'm also working from home.
yeah, so if you have a boutique, I have a wide range because
Hmm.
as a reseller, no, we are kind of like affiliate marketing. We get the products only like from online, so we don't have virtual products. We don't have products with us.
Okay. But are you not, supposing he wants to see your line, entire line, you would have something in a presentation to show him?
Oh yes, ma'am.
That's what I meant by a video meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
will
I think,
definitely prepare yes, I will definitely prepare some slide or my products, and I'll elaborate and give a description of everything.
yes. So when you're doing the virtual meetings, be cognizant of the other person's time and
Yes.
make sure that these 6 critical skills are incorporated. Be relatable, have questions, position yourself correctly, check everything is in place, and listen to what he actually is looking for. You may have 20 categories of clothes line to share, but initially you want to engage him in a conversation and then finalize which 5 you may ultimately want to take him through. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm shown too many choices, I actually get decision fatigue. Does that happen to you?
Happens to me. I get bored
Yeah.
very.
Yeah, because then I don't take a decision. So I think something like that would also happen to customers. If I show too much, then they just they don't take a decision because they don't know. They get overwhelmed. So you want to single down to what are their main asks and which 4, 5 things will come and let them decide from there. So how do you prepare for a meeting like you would do for an in-person meeting? Similarly, for your video meetings, have a goal. Always have an agenda in place. Have your logistics in place. Have you sent the meeting invite? Is your video in order? Is the audio working? Everything. Just prepare for it properly. So technical mastery, by technical mastery, I don't mean you need to know how to code and all, but be able to manage your device. It's a good idea if you can highlight with a story. That is something that a customer will always remember. And sometimes proficiency in presenting well can be more important than the capability of your product. And that has many times made the difference between winning or losing a sale. Okay, now the phone, we'll first talk about the phone etiquette and then we will talk about telesales. Now, again, phone etiquette is very important. How you come across to the customer on the phone or when somebody has phoned in with a query. What is happening, the tone, the way you are coming across, again, that can make the difference between turning that lead into a customer or losing that prospect for good. So I've put down certain points for telephone etiquette. Of course, there are many more. I mean, feel free to add, to these if you have any. And remember, whenever you pick up the phone to talk to your customers, smile. It will make a difference in your voice. I'm going to play this video. It's about phone skills, applies to telephone skill, telesales skills also. Why is it not playing? Okay, I'm not able to understand why it's not playing. I'm going to come back to it in a while. Messaging. So there are many times you will use the phone for texting, for WhatsApp messages, and there also certain etiquette needs to be followed. While of course it's important that you get to the point quickly, you'll still need to maintain certain cordiality, in your message, in the way you come across. Don't be brusque. Don't answer in monosyllables. You don't have to sit and do P's and Q's, but just be mindful of some of these things.
Practice good exit kit.
Sorry, you had a question on this?
The 9th point, exit kit. Good exit kit. Probably it was nice talking to you. Hope to hear from you soon. Should be a good exit kit, right? But then you will be needing the reaching back contact or any mode of going back to say retention.
So always check when can I connect with you again?
Mhm.
If you need to get back to them, they will themselves be expecting, but always ask when is a good time to reach you again.
And sign off in style. What does that mean?
Sign off in style, in the sense that don't just say okay bye. Just sign off properly, saying lovely talking to you, or when can we catch up again? Just simple one line sign off. Anything else or any suggestions here? This is not to be taken seriously. It's just that sometimes when you're messaging, be mindful of this predictive text, because I've also learned the hard way that sometimes the message goes and then you realize, oh God, it actually wrote something else than what I wanted to put.
Yeah, side
And
effect.
thank God for the edit option now on WhatsApp.
No, but still autocorrection.
I know. So I just get into the habit of checking before you just send. In fact, in a lot of meetings now, it's become a no phone zone. Okay, now telecalling, when you're actually calling with the purpose of connecting with a customer for informing him about your product, pitching your product, or doing a follow-up. Now remember, your first 20 seconds are very crucial. They can either get him interested in the rest of the conversation, or the person will just be switching off. And 92% of all our interactions are still over the phone. So, your communication, your building rapport, everything needs to be happen in the telecall. So do build a script. I can't overemphasize the fact that you need to have a script ready to speak. It's not something that you'll pick up the phone and then decide, oh, I'll think of something to say. Please have your pitch ready. Use simple language, have a conversation. Don't jump into making a sale straight away. And having a script also doesn't mean that, you just start reading from it. Make sure that you've practiced it enough that it comes out naturally. So this is just an example of what kind of terms you can use to get them to pick their curiosity. Okay, this should play.
A BPO.
Are
And
you able
you
to
are the
hear?
one calling the customer in order to make him buy a product or service. The customer very often will be irritated or just cut your line. But do not be discouraged. We will show you how a proper telesales call should sound like. Look at Shruti here.
Good morning, Mrs. Morris. This is Shruti from Star Electro. Is this a good time to talk? I've got 5 minutes before my car reaches the office. So tell me. Thank you, ma'am. I just want to congratulate you as you have won a great offer from Star Electro. You have been selected for a huge discount of up to 25% on certain models of washing machine. Discount? Is it an exchange offer? No, ma'am. This is just a straight discount on any washing machine. Would you like me to tell you about the models on offer and how to claim this? It's not a bad idea. I do need one right now. Can you call me in the evening at 4, please? Sure, ma'am. I will call you at exactly 4 in the evening. Thank you for your time and please look forward to a wonderful offer today.
Did you see that? Shruti made some critical, correct moves that made her customer interested in what she had to say. So, what are they? Can you guess them? Correct. Let's look at them step by step.
Good morning, Mrs. Morris. This is Shruti from Star Electro.
Greet the customer. Whenever possible, begin by taking the customer's name. It makes the customer feel special.
I hope you're free to talk now.
This is very important because we don't want to irritate the customer at the very beginning by talking when they are in middle of something.
I just want to congratulate you as you have won a great offer from Star Electro. You have been selected for a huge discount of up to 25% on certain models of washing machine.
Interest the customer in your product. See if you can begin by congratulating the customer or something that will arouse his curiosity.
No, ma'am. This is just a straight discount on any washing machine.
Continue by talking about something which would interest any customer, a discount or a great offer.
Would you like me to tell you about the models on offer and how to claim this?
Leave the customer with something to think about.
Thank you for your time and please look forward to a wonderful offer today.
Thank the customer, whatever the outcome of the call. That's great. So with your first call, you must develop the skill to cut the ice with the customer and be polite at all times. Now, let's see how Shruti follows up on the call.
Okay, I might have to come back to this also. So what did you learn from Shruti's video? Ladies?
The
She is
point
polite
of
and
it's
talk with customer.
Right? Did she jump straight into making a pitch?
No, ma'am. First, she made the customer happy by having a happy conversation, by congratulating her,
Yeah.
so that she engaged them to listen further.
Yes. So these things are very important to keep in mind, focus on building, she focused on building a rapport, and she kept her engaged long enough by first talking about her offer, and then took a time later for doing the sales bit. So she's getting the information, she's getting the interest, and then she's using an emotional trigger to spark interest and then move forward. And she's not being robotic about it at all. She has a script ready, but she's being genuinely pleasing and conducting that conversation. And remember, sometimes the customer can simply say, no, I'm not interested. But ladies, don't take it personally. That no is not no for you. It's just that maybe they are busy, and not every customer has to really like what we have to offer, or you possibly called at the wrong time. So it's just okay. You can always try again.
So you want to learn how to speak professional on a telephone? How do you get through to people? Well, you can do the right video. So my name is Trevor, and for the past 2 decades, I have trained, mentor, and coached people around the globe in public speaking, sales, and telephone sales. I've seen the mistakes that people make, so you don't have to make them. When you implement some of these tips and techniques I'm going to share with you, you will sound more professional on a telephone, engaging, and you're probably going to connect, and if you want to, sell something to somebody. So grab a pen and a paper and take down these tips. The first mistake I see people make is they talk way too softly on a telephone. I remember going to Europe and walking in on a company, and as I'm walking on the floor, it's very quiet. I walked past the table, and I remember this one girl was saying, excuse me, my name is Jessica. I'm just calling in regards to... How can people take you serious if you're that soft? You know that research shows us that people who speak 15% louder is perceived to be more knowledgeable and professional. So by speaking too soft on the telephone, people are not going to take you serious. Speak a little bit louder and people are going to say, whoa, I need to pay attention here. The second mistake that people make on a telephone, they talk really, really fast. Hello, John. Yes, this is Trevor here. I would love to speak to you regarding some training that our company would offer you. And you're going to sound like a fast-talking car salesman. Slow down. Research is showing people who speak at about 150 words a minute comes across more natural, and it doesn't feel like you're hyping people up. I'm talking to you at 150 words per minute. How do I know that? Because I speak with punctuation. I say something and I pause. I say something and I pause. Which also helps you in the third problem and mistake that people make. They say those ugly filler words like, basically, you know. Yeah, we all do those noises and you come across like an amateur. You want to sound professional? Pause frequently during your videos. Say something in short, sharp sentences and pause. Say something and pause. Say something else and pause. Immediately you sound structured, calm, and relaxed. The other mistake people make is they speak flat. Hello, this is Trevor. Thank you for your call. Yes, I would love to speak to you regarding some of our training courses that we offer people. We help and coach people virtually via Zoom in short sprints. I mean, seriously, nobody going to stay awake when you talk that monotone and flat. You're going to have to speak a bit with passion, not too much, just a lot more than usual so that people can hear you're really passionate about your products. Now, when you are going to make an outbound call, there are always three things. And the person who's answering the phone call's mind, they're thinking, sorry, who are you? Why are you calling me? And how long is this going to take? You've done exactly the same thing. When people call my company and I pick up and they start to talk, I always go, who is this person? Why are they calling me? And how long is this going to take? So my tip for you would be, is you want to be more professional on your outbound calls, sounding more structured, answer these 3 questions within the first 40 seconds of your telephone call. When somebody picks up and they say, hello, this is Bob speaking. You say, hello, Bob, this is Trevor Ambrose. Good. The second thing is, why are you calling? My tip here for you is not to tell them about a product or a service that you have and that you want to sell them. You want to tell them about the benefit of your product or your service. It needs to not sound like, I would love to talk to you about training. You want to say, I would love to talk to you about closing more sales more frequently. People say, yeah, that sounds interesting. So it's your name, the benefit, why are you calling? And lastly, you say, look, it will take less than 5 minutes. When you do this, people say, okay, I now know who you are. What's the benefit in it for me to listen to you? And lastly, it's only going to take 5 minutes. Then people say, okay, keep talking. Now, if you are interesting and people are liking what they're hearing, they will even give you 15 minutes. Nobody will pull you up and say, that's it, 5 minutes, your time's up. So when you tell people it'll take only 5 minutes, normally people say, good, okay, I've got 5 minutes. Tell me, what is it? Telephones are a great tool to connect and relate to people. A lot of people are too scared for picking up the phone because they don't know how to start talking. So here are some key techniques that I've shared with you now. I hope you wrote them down. Remember, the telephone isn't that scary. I see a lot of the younger generation is now hiding behind technology, behind emails and texting and just sending certain things over to people, a brochure or a catalog. Face-to-face is probably your best way to connect with people. Secondly, would absolutely be via a telephone. You can have your tone and your passion and people can listen to what you've got to say. So if you think about growing your business, sounding more professionally, definitely pick up the telephone, talk to people, slow it down, speak with voice modulation, pause frequently, and answer those 3 questions. Who are you? Why are you calling them with a benefit? And lastly, it'll take less than 5 minutes. Hey, I hope these techniques have helped you. If you've got some techniques, share with us in the comments. We'd love to hear. Let's hear what other people are saying as well. I know there's a lot of you out there who've got some great techniques.
So guys, what did you learn from the video? Did he make sense?
Yes.
Will you remember his techniques?
Why and what time? That's simple to remember.
Sorry?
The 3 things he said is simple to remember. Who are you? And then the benefit why you have called. And how long will it take? That
Yeah.
should be prompt enough.
And remember the first part, speak loudly. Right? So make a note of all of these because these are good techniques. I have utilized them and found them very, very useful. Now let's take a look at this telecalling example and the problems that people have encountered and how they've worked around it. So in the first situation where somebody calls and starts talking about the product or the service, straight away the client says, okay, how much is it? So before you start getting down to saying, oh, it costs so much or the package will be X, this is how the caller actually maneuvered the situation. He said it depends. When the client is saying it depends on what, that is when he says it depends on what you're looking for. So tell me a little bit about what is it that you want, because he wanted to pitch it as a solution and not as a package. Does that make sense, guys? Right? Now, second situation, you're handling a rebuttal when the customer says, I'm busy right now. And you know what that means because you may or may not be able to get through to them again. So the other seller has made the situation where he's talked about what he is, who he is, and he is still checking if I've caught you in the middle of something, and the caller says, yes, I'm busy. And then he says, I can call back at another time. But the client is not giving him another time. Like in the case of Shruti, the client gave her a time. Yes, you can call me back at 4 o'clock. Here, he's not ready to give a time. And he's still asking, what is it regarding? There you want to give them a little bit of hint. Don't make a pitch then and there, because yes, I understand it may be that, okay, you may not get to talk to him, but that is not the right time to make a pitch. So here you want to talk them a little bit, saying, I have something that could help find a solution to your recruitment needs or to your, computer glitches or whatever your product is about. And there he says, finally gets a time with him, says, okay, call me tomorrow evening. And then that is the time when he will make his pitch. Right? Are these all these situations? I mean, we can't come up with every situation, have scripts for everything, but for your own benefit, have 2 or 3 of these ready with you so that you know how you can maneuver and change and adapt to the situation as it changes. Right? The idea is to try and get some quality time where you are able to talk about the benefits. Sometimes they may understand, they may have a proper conversation with you. Like you've told them the pitch and they said, yeah, sure. And then they say, I need time to think about it. So that would be a good time where you can say, yes, I fully understand that you want to think about it before you commit to a purchase. And let me make it easier. Let me email you what we just talked about so you can see the numbers for yourself. So this does 2 things. It reinforces the conversation. You're in a position to list down your benefits and advantages and the price advantage and then send it to him. And in the email, if you're smart, you will also put a button to schedule a demo call, right? And let him fix the time for the demo. Are all of these situations relatable, ladies?
Yes.
Okay. What else do you encounter that you would want to take up? Any particular situation do you remember? Or can think of?
Here, these are mostly kind of manageable situations, I say.
Yeah.
But say mostly when if I'm putting myself in the customer's place and if I get a call early in the morning, I am busy and some bank guy wants to sell me a credit card, I'm very dismissive and I'm kind of just saying, is this a good time? No, it's not. Bye. Don't bother me. This is more cynical. I mean, just
Yeah.
thing, those situations I'm pretty sure will always be there, right?
Right. I know. So if the guy used his common sense and did not say that I'm selling a card and simply said that I can help you get great deals, you might be a little more open to listening to him.
It depends on the time of the day also. I mean,
So yeah, I mean, early morning is not a time to call people for this. Right. So how do we enhance digital selling? Building relationships over the phone, over the video, very much possible. Being able to discover the needs and then matching the product or the service, filling that pipeline, avoiding virtual mistakes. Guys, video especially, be very careful who's at the background, who's sometimes somebody else is doing a video call and their conversation is coming here. Be very, very vigilant about all of this, right? Building a diversified toolbox and learn to capture attention. So let's explore all of these. How do you build relationships? How do you build rapport? Any thoughts?
pleasantly should be there. um,
Yeah.
at least in the beginning.
Start with having the video on and encouraging your client to also have the video on. So leave some time at the beginning or at the end of your video meeting to have a general conversation with your client. That is what you will, that is how you'll build rapport. And then, I mean, sometimes they may not have the video on, so have yours on at least, so that after some time, at least, you know, the guy understands that, you know, this needs to be done. Because it's important that you are able to see their expressions as you speak. That is also a clue to you that what is of interest to him or what is he getting distracted by. Right? Discovering the needs. How will you discover their needs?
Probing.
Probing. Yes. So again, these can be scripted questions that you can prepare beforehand on how, you know, you want to ask, what questions you want to ask to get them to start talking. Also, emails, if you leverage emails, you know, ask a few needs discovery questions via email, it's also a good idea. Try and get information if it is possible. And then, you know, buyers don't know sometimes that they have this need or what's available to them. So you can talk to them, tell them a story about some other buyer who actually benefited from your product sale. And then, of course, like you said, probing questions, you know, what makes it work for them? What is it that they would like to happen at the end of the sale, or what is the outcome that they are expecting? All these things will make a difference. Filling the pipeline, basically, it means that sellers not only need to be comfortable meeting face to face with potential buyers and in-person meetings, but also connecting with people on video and social media. Now, be very careful with interactions on social medias and choose your platform wisely. There are a lot of people who sometimes don't think and want to connect with you on platforms like Facebook. If you're comfortable, go ahead. Many a times I've had to tell people that, you know, Facebook I'm not much on it and it's more personal for family and friends. Please find me on LinkedIn, happy to connect. So just be mindful of all of this. Don't let it become an issue, but you know, you may encounter some of these things. Virtual mistakes could be, you know, like we discussed, problems with tech, lack of preparedness, you know, presentation is not up to par, or sometimes it can also be an unkempt image. So be very careful about your grooming and presentation as you would in a face-to-face meeting. Then learning to, building a diversified toolbox. So toolbox is something which is your resource box that you will dive into. You know, if you're using Zoom meetings, have you set up everything in order? If you're using email, are you able to put your website URL links at the bottom as your signature? All these things, if they're already prepared beforehand, you don't have to waste time doing it every time you have to shoot off something, you know, at an instant. One thing is that a lot of people have started doing is that they, you know, they actually send a link to their company's presentation with their email. It's not an attachment, but just a link, because like I said, attachments sometimes can encounter firewalls, but a link, maybe if you put it in your Google Drive or something, that's also a good idea that you can look at. And lastly, learning to capture attention. Right? This comes up frequently by a lot of people saying that it is a little difficult to do it online. Make sure that you have a structured interaction while you are talking to people. If you're doing a video presentation and you're not able to do a demo, then get a whiteboard in place and be able to showcase things there. Supposing you're presenting to a group and you're not sure that everybody is on the table and listening, especially if you want the SFO to definitely listen in because he has to give out the budget. Ask, Mr. CFO, may I know your thoughts on this, etc. So these are just polite diplomatic interventions just to make sure that people are on the same page. So our key takeaways from all that we've seen and discussed on the virtual selling. Any thoughts here, ladies? There are certain aspects like driving engagement through community building, etc., which we are going to do in our workshop on Tuesday. Right? So this part of the hybrid selling is over, but there's still more coming. Guys, questions, answers? I actually have one more video to go back to since we have the time, but please, I want to take up the questions first.
Hello,
Nobody?
Sonia. I'm Pala. Hello.
Yes, hi.
I want to know what is the full form of CRM, which comes in remote sales and face-to-face sales.
Oh, customer relationship management.
Thank you, ma'am.
The software. So, for example, Salesforce is a CRM, which a lot of companies use. So they use it to get data insights on customers, customer engagement, and a lot of things like that. So you actually have a whole lot of tools, resources available. Make sure that you experiment, try them out, and then have 2, 3 ready for everything that you end up doing and rely on. It's a good idea to get engaged on 2, 3 different platforms. Sometimes there is a company policy on that these 2, 3 only should be used. But if not, then make sure that you are in less than 5. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult for you to also manage. And then if you have to find something that you sent somewhere before on what platform, it's easier to manage.
Okay.
Any other questions? Do you want to see that video on handling objections?
Yes.
Should we go there? Okay. Let me play this.
You. Yeah, you. You gotta be kidding me. You want to charge me how much? For this? You are way too expensive. Isn't that the worst? Listen, if you work in sales, you've heard that your product or your service, whatever it is that you're selling, is too expensive. If you don't hear that on a very regular basis, you're not trying hard enough. It comes with the territory being a sales professional. People are going to complain about your price. People are going to tell you that you're too expensive. I'm going to give you 3 strategies that you can incorporate right here, right now, in how to deal with a prospect telling you that you are too expensive. All I ask for you in return is please smash that like button. And please, if you work in sales, if you want to get better, if you want help from me, subscribe to this channel. I am here to help you. I want to help you. Leave a comment. I'll make you a video just like this with the answer to what you're looking for. But let's talk about right now 3 ways to handle somebody telling you you are too expensive. I'm going to break them down this way. Step number one, agreement. Step number two, comparison. Step number three, too expensive for that. Let me explain all three of these. All right, so the first step is agreement. Somebody says, you gotta be kidding me on the price, $500, or you gotta be kidding me, $250,000, whatever it is, right? I'm not paying $18,000 a month for this. The first time somebody complains to you about your price, I want you to simply agree with them. I hear you. I get it. It's a fantastic product. I hear you. I get it. It's a fantastic solution. It's got everything you need. When we talked on the phone, you told me you needed X, Y, Z. This has got all that for them. So make sure that you first agree with them. Listen, money is money. Money is also something that people get very emotional about. I can't tell you how many people get a divorce over arguing about money. Money is something that normal people complain about every single second of every single day. And chances are, when your prospect is telling you that you're too expensive, it's just them being a normal human. You gotta have thick skin. I get it, Tony. I'm with you. I get it, Tony. I understand. $24,000 is a lot of money. I think we found the perfect solution for you, right? Just simply agree and move forward with your presentation. That's going to take care of most people. Most of the time, you're going to find they were just simply complaining. Now, for those times when it's a little bit more than a complaint, maybe it's an actual objection, I want you to move into comparison, but make sure you agree first. But let's say you agree, right? It doesn't work. They keep hammering you on the price. 18 grand for this? You've got to be insane. I want you to go with comparison. Tony, I get it. Notice how I agree again. Tony, I get it. I'm with you. Just out of curiosity, Tony, when you say 18,000 is too expensive, help me understand compared to what? And notice how I worded that. Always say this, just out of curiosity. That's a nice softener statement. It shows that you're not being combative with them. You don't want to seem like you're arguing with them. Tony, I hear you. Just out of curiosity, Tony, when you say 18 grand is too expensive, compared to what? The solution you have now, other solutions that you're looking at, or what you expected to pay. You've got to narrow down which of those three it is. Now, if it's, it's what we're paying right now for the exact same service right now, we're paying 12 grand. You guys are 18 grand. Got it, Tony. I totally understand. If you don't mind me asking, why are we talking, right? You told me that you weren't happy with the service that you're getting, that their platform is outdated, that they don't have the variety. They don't come in metal like you needed, only in plastic. Whatever it is that you discovered why they're talking to you. Remember, there's a reason why they're talking to you. And if they're saying you're too expensive compared to what they're doing right now, there's a reason why they don't want to keep doing that right now. Their needs are not being met. Now, here's the next one. Well, compared to the guy down the street, right? Compared to Acme, right? You guys are 18. Acme is 17.5, right? It's $500 less over at Acme. Got it, Tony, I'm with you. Hey, all things being equal, let's say the price was the same. Which would you rather have, ours or Acme's? Oh, well, I'd rather have yours. You guys have the longer warranty. You do the in-home service. You come in black, whatever all the reasons are. They're going to, who's selling who now? They're going to start telling you why they would rather have you. Great, Tony, I got it. Aren't all those things worth the extra $500? Make sure you isolate the difference between you and the competitor that they're comparing you to. Or lastly, they're going to say, well, compared to what I wanted to pay, I didn't want to pay more than $17,000 for this. Go back to agreement. Tony, I get you. I understand that you wanted to pay what you expected in the budget, $17,000. We're at $18,000, but more important than price, I want to make sure that we're perfect for you. Help me understand this. You told me that you needed in-home service. You told me you needed it to come in titanium. You told me, go through all of those things that they told you needed from your product. Of course they set their budget lower than what your cost is. If you're finding that people expected to pay more for your product or service, Well, you're priced too low. Listen, people are going to price you very, very low, right? We all don't want to part with our money. We love our money. So it's important for you in that comparison to break it down to what they have now, the competition, or what they expected to pay. Make sense? The last place that I want you to go, if agreement doesn't work and comparison doesn't work, you may be in one of these situations where you actually are too expensive. And let me explain. Sometimes we're too expensive for what we're showing them. Sometimes our prospects don't see the value. Let me give you an example. I wanted a new four-door car sedan. I was looking at the new Mercedes 63 AMG. I think it came in at right around $139,000, right? I just wasn't feeling the car. It just wasn't that exciting. My first emotion that I had, this is way too expensive. It turns out it was too expensive for that car. And I was working with the right type of salesperson that understood that and said, hey, Matt, just out of curiosity, let me show you something. I think it may be a game changer for you, right? And he showed me the Bentley, which was way more money. It was also way more car. I fell in love instantly. I want you to remember this. Sometimes when we're showing a customer, a prospect, a product, or a solution, it's too expensive for that. They're just not seeing the value, right? Show them your most expensive product or solution at that point. It's a win-win for you. You're either going to show them your most expensive product, they're going to see the value, and they're going to up their budget, which is the case that I did, or they're going to say, wow, I really like this. Do you have something in between the two that's a little bit closer to this, but not as, a little bit less money than this, somewhere in between, right? They're going to come up with a new product, or they're going to go back to that original product. And suddenly, since they've seen something that's so much more expensive, that original product or solution is going to seem more valuable to them. It's going to seem like a better deal, right? Well, I don't want to pay all that. Let's go back and look at another one. That price doesn't seem so bad now that I've seen this other one that's 4 times more money. You're going to find that. You're going to find that it's a win-win solution. In our core, what we want to do when we're showing somebody a product or solution and they say it's too expensive, we immediately go to, what else do I have that I can show them that's less money? What else do I have that I can show them that's cheaper? That's never the right way to go. You're never going to win with that. That's what I like to call a race to the bottom. You're going to race to show them a cheaper product. They're going to see less and less of value until eventually they're going to be like, I'm exhausted. I'm going to go get a beer. I'll call you later if I'm interested, right? You're not going to get the sale. So I want you to incorporate these 3 tactics the next time that you hear that your product or service is too expensive. Remember what they are: agreement, right? Comparison, and too expensive for that. Please smash that like button if you found this helpful at all. I would love it if you'd subscribe to the channel. I want to meet you. Leave a comment. I want to start a dialogue with you. I want to know what you're.
So ladies, what did you learn from this video?
You've got to be persistent. That we can see.
Yeah, a little exaggerated, but I think you got the point. Right? So we come to the end of this session, and I hope you made notes, took some key takeaways, and can apply them to your working lives. But if there are any questions still, I would love to take them. Let me know. Aarti, were you asking anything?
No, actually, it's just kind of out of curiosity again.